plenty of other activities happening for you, other projects you're working on, other meetings coming up.
Yeah, trying to do as much as I can.
Yeah, alhamdulillah,
Yeah,
it's good.
yeah,
Makes it busy and keeps you occupied, so it's good then.
yeah, and sometimes slow because probably getting old and
Yes, we're all we can't escape that. It's yeah,
yeah,
inshallah.
yeah. Sometimes health does not help much, but
No, inshallah,
alhamdulillah, the intention is there, the effort is there. So
alhamdulillah.
yeah.
Inshallah, we'll start now. We've got a few people on
Bismillah.
board. So, assalamu alaikum, kia ora, peace and blessings be upon you all. Welcome again to another Voice of Islam um, online program today. Today's topic is called A Safer Humanity. And I'll just do an introduction again. Just is humanity safe today? That's the question we want to ask. If not, how can we contribute to make it safer? Every one of us has something they can contribute. We all experience hate, abuse, violence, and discrimination during our daily life, whether it be at home, at work, at school, or on social media. All these lead to a feeling of being unsafe and affect individuals, families, neighbours, the community, and humanity. This is a worldwide problem, and that's what we need to talk about it and find tips and ways to make a safer community and humanity. To speak on this topic, we have Brother Farid Ahmed, who spoke on this issue in a recent conference in Wellington. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Farid. How are you?
Wa Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And assalamu alaikum to all the listeners. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Yes. Oh, it's
Alhamdulillah.
another week's gone by since we met, and as I was speaking to you earlier, this goes so quick.
That's how our life is going to end.
It is. It is. It's as long as we're trying to do good in this world, alhamdulillah,
That's right.
then our end should be the best, inshallah.
Yes, inshallah.
So, Brother Free, what was the conference you spoke at earlier, which is on the same topic?
Uh, it was a national conference in Wellington organized by Neighborhood Support New Zealand. Very important conference, I would say, because neighborhood support is an initiative to grow safer community, safer home, safer country, and the police department is also involved in it. Volunteers, they are putting their time and effort. So it's a great initiative. It's a great organization, and it has lots of burning candles. I'd say burning candles mean selfless people. Candles, it gives light, but it burns itself to provide light for others. So some people are like burning candles. They sacrifice their time, they sacrifice their energy, their money, their effort for the benefit of others. So very selfless, well respected people. I have admiration for them. So this organization is all over New Zealand, and they have been working very hard to grow the safer community. So last week, 28th, this week, 28th of June, they had a conference, national conference in Wellington, and they were very kind uh, in inviting me, and they made me a keynote speaker, gave me 40 minutes to talk about this issue. So, Alhamdulillah, I went there and I shared some of my thoughts which is not traditional. Traditionally, what we see for safer community, uh, we see few things. For example, we see uh, correction system, we see prisons, we see police, uh, and also we see court, and the another system we see is legislation. So New Zealand is now working on another legislation, as you all know, the hate speech law. So every country like New Zealand, they look at the legislation that with the legislative system they try to also make people feel safe. With law and order, they try to grow safety. So these things are common in any country to make a safer community. They do this sort of things. But I was trying to give a different spin on it, that something else also very, very, very important to grow the safer community and safer humanity, to grow safer home and safer country. So that was my intention, and I delivered that. So as we go along, we can discuss about it more.
Inshallah, inshallah. So, um, safer community is a wide concept. Could you break it down for some simplification?
Well,
What do
if
we?
we,
Yeah.
uh, you know, we can look at, few ways. One way is in a secular way, like, secular countries, secular government, the way they look at it. So when they look at it, you know, uh, they look at it, uh, in a it is a problem, like we all do, um, but their approach to solve this unsafe condition is different. They look at in a totally different way. They look at, as I said, they look at in a legislative way, court, prison, etc., etc. Also, we can look at in religious point of view. In religious point of view, also, um, uh, we look at the legislation, we look at uh, law and order, but we look at, in other way beyond these two systems. So you are right that safer humanity, safer community is a wide concept. It can be safety for myself and yourself. Start from each one of us, because some people, they feel, they lose their safety feeling, and as a result they feel they are not belonged. They feel they are not supported. They feel they are all alone, so they commit suicide. So safety starts from oneself, and then safety goes to between me and others, and it starts from the home. So, for example, there are lots of domestic violence. Husband and wife, they are fighting. They are going to the court. They have lawsuit. They are trying to, solve their divorce issue and, property issue in the court. Lots of grouping, lots of fear, lots of animosity, lots of anxiety, etc., etc. Then it goes to the neighborhood, between neighbor and neighbor, between neighborhood, when they do not treat one another nicely, when they use their tongue to abuse one another, they also feel unsafe, and they can, engage into, fighting. They can engage into the border issue, things like this. And also in modern societies. At home we see suicide, at home we see domestic violence, in neighborhood we see drugs, vandalism, stealing, etc., etc. So, and also in some cases we see that terrible things like a rape is taking place. So people are not feeling safe. Then it goes to the community. It goes to the community, and then one community do not agree with another, or within the community we see unsafe because they are fighting for power, they're fighting for money, they're trying to control the organization or the community. And then we go into the multiple communities, different religions, different group, and they are you know if they are not treating one another with respect and with fairness, then they are coming into fight. They are creating hate, they are giving hate speech, and then some of their loose, unwise, angry people are attacking another. And that is, we are seeing in the name of religion, in communities sometimes, fight breaks up. And then we see racism. Racism also brings unsafety. We see war. One nation is against another nation, and this wars causes unsafety for general people, for women, children, etc., etc. So the truth, as you say, it is true that when we talk about safer humanity, it 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 talks about lots of things. It is an enormous thing. Start from the person and it goes to the world, and for all of it, everyone is concerned, whether a person is rich or poor, whether a country is superpower or a country is underdog, whether a community is very wealthy or not. It is a safety concern is for everyone. Even a baby, even a baby wants to feel safe, because a baby naturally has got the instinct that when the baby is in the lap of the mother, baby feels safe and secure. And this baby tendency is never grow old in human being. We can become 60 years old or 50 years old, but we all have that baby tendency. Each one of us, we want to feel safe, because this is this is from the creator Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has put some instincts inside us, and one of those instincts is we all want to feel safe, whether we are Muslim or non-Muslim, believer or non-believer, from this race or that race, from this ethnicity or that ethnicity, whether we are Western or European or African or Arabian. We all feel that we need to be safe, and that's where we need to work together. So but when it comes to the solution, how we can make things safer, then we have different approaches, and we will talk about the different approach bit later.
Can I just, before you talk on some of that part, I just want to add, because you mentioned an important point, that the safety is wide, so wide. Because we talk about food safety, water safety, children's safety within the family, with outside the family, where at school, where children are being bullied. On social media seems to be a big part nowadays of people getting bullied and harassed, and it just leads to all sorts of problems. Especially in the West, where suicide is enormous amongst young people. And I think New Zealand, here we have one of the highest youth suicide rates in the world, and which you sort of wonder why. New Zealand's such beautiful country in most parts, in most areas. It's, we've got, say, we don't have wars and things like this going on, and why do people feel unsafe? Then you got other countries where they've got wars going on. So it's just so much. And is there is this a new phenomena? Is this something more recent that this sort of thing's been happening, or is it something that's been going on for decades, centuries, millenniums? Is this something that's been here forever amongst human beings? Have we always been wanting to be, I don't know, is it greedy? Is it don't want to dominate over our fellow brothers and sisters in humanity, that we want to take from them what they have and add to our own? Is this something that's just been around forever?
Uh, then these unsafe conditions come from our from the practice of our negative emotion, our negative character, and this negativity was not as much uh, strong as it is today, because initially Adam and Eve, Adam alayhi salam and his wife Hawa and their progeny, the level of unsafe condition was lesser than, and because they used to follow the divine code, there were little incidents, but not as much as today. Why it is increasing today? Because we human being, we are losing our focus, we are losing our main focus, and we are becoming too busy with the branches. So that's why I would say that because of our own knowledge and practice and faith, we are drifting away from the peace and safety, and we are getting into more and more unsafe conditions.
It's just is this part of it seems what the world has come to now is like a materialistic world. We all want better than our neighbour. We want, if he's got I don't know, a Mercedes, we want a Lamborghini. If he wants this, we want that. We want something more. If he's got a 3-bedroom house, we want a 5-bedroom house with a view and all in a swimming pool. Like, is this part of it where we're sort of competing for dunya stuff, materialistic things, more than what we should be or what we maybe others have done in the past?
You have given a long list, and the list goes on.
Oh, I know.
But the simple thing Allah said. Sorry, the simple thing in a simple way. Allah said in the Quran, "Zahar al fasada fil barri wal bahri, bima kasabat aydin nas." The calamity, the misfortune, the problem, the unsafe condition, whatever it is going on in the land and in the water, is what people are earning with their own hands. So safety and unsafety is the choice that Allah has given to us. Allah is not forcing anything on us. The choice is ours. If we choose to believe in the right thing, and if we choose to act according to the right belief, then safety is there. It will be safer world, safer neighborhood, safer home, and safer in myself and yourself. But if we choose opposite, then it will be unsafe, and this is what is happening. The world today is only looking at the branches of a tree, the branches, but not going to the root. We always say that if you want to solve any problem, you have to look at the root cause of all the problems. Like a tree. A tree, if you start looking at the branches and the leaves and the flowers and the fruits, then enormous. Which one are you going to target? Enormous. Like, this issue, human unsafety. Enormous. It is everywhere. like leaves, hundreds and thousands of leaves, and with so many branches. Where can we start to solve the problem? The answer is we have to go to the root cause. But as far as I see, with all respect, I would like to say that it seems that this world is not going to the root cause of all the unsafe condition. It is just doing some pruning outside,
Yes.
cutting this, cutting that, and they are thinking that it will solve the problem, but it is not.
So
Now,
can I just jump in for a little second there? So really, we need to see the leaves, the other edge, to see that there is a problem, because the leaves usually tell you if it's starting to go
mhm,
brown or something on the edge. You know there's a problem. But like you
yes,
said, we shouldn't just be trimming the leaf off. We cut that leaf off and say, "Oh, we've solved the problem. It's gone away." So
yeah,
then you have, like you said, go back to the root. So I just wanted to
yeah,
make that comment. Yeah.
yeah. So what is the root then? So I'll give a few examples. So as I said before, that we can look at from secular point of view, and we can look at from religious point of view. So here, because for this audience, let us talk about from the religious point of view. It will be more appropriate. So now, if we look at some examples, example number one, that we see the nature around us. The nature around us, we see the peaceful heaven, so many stars, we see the garden just in front of our homes. We see they are peaceful, they are safe from one another. They also have life. The tree has a life, they grow, but we do not see unsafe condition there. It looks like each one of them is following its rules. In the heaven, when we look at the moon, is is circling within its own orbit. It is safe, and it is not causing unsafe condition for others. The sun is doing the same thing, is moving within its own orbit and not exceeding the limit. So it is safe from collision, and also it is keeping the other things safer. The stars exit it like this. So, what is the difference between those things and us? They are also creation of Allah. We are also creation of Allah. So how come we are causing unsafe condition for each other, but they are not? The answer is that they follow the divine rule. Everyone is following divine rule. That's why no one is coming no one's way. They are safe, everything is safe, and they are contributing the safety for others. Now it comes to us. We are also human beings. So if we consider each one of us is a star, so in this planet, we are so many stars. If we follow divine code, we follow our own right, we give the right of other people, whether it is my wife or my kid or my neighbor or my fellow human, if we give one another's right, then we do not collide, we do not cause any unsafe condition. I'm safe, he's safe, she's safe, everyone is safe. So the main problem is that we human beings, we are not following the divine code. We try to solve with trimming this and trimming that and trimming that. But we are not going to the root cause. Now I'll give another example. Let's say Musa alayhi salam, Moses. So Allah sent Moses in a situation when the entire society was not safe because the government was killing all the male children, male babies, and was keeping the female babies alive so that they would be servant one day, made, uh, female servant. It was terrible in that time. Openly he was, committing crime. His government was committing crime, creating unsafety in the society. Allah sent Moses to fix it. So, did Allah send Moses with lots of prisons? That Moses, you go and make lots of prisons, and I'm giving you some angel armies. They will come with stick and gun, and also I'll send some aliens with some special aircraft to bomb Pharaoh's palace. Allah did not do this. Allah sent Moses to solve the problem without even a gun, without any army, without going and fighting. So what was the solution Allah gave? The solution was the call for knowledge, good faith, and good action. Then, we see the same thing with Jesus. Jesus, Allah gave him the miraculous power for the healing. But Allah could have given him lots and lots of angels with big stick to create safety, or with prisons, or many courts. No. Then Allah sent Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam in a society when everything was unsafe. There was no crime that did not take place in Mecca in that time. They used to sell omen in the flea market. They used to fight in bloodshed between tribes and tribes. It was their norm. No one felt safe. For their safety, again, Allah did not send Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam with a big army or with big guns, but Allah sent the guidance for people to believe. Allah sent the divine guidance for people to believe and to act righteously according to that belief. That was the solution. Why? Because look, in human being, we have three levels, three planes. One is mental plane, another is emotional plane, and another is physical plane. So our body is like a tree. So these fingers are like flowers. And then just, underneath, let's say this is, small branches. And then all these things, if we go to the root is the mind. So, for example, if someone wants to do sexual abuse, which causes unsafety, first of all, the idea comes in his mind. And then the mind tells the emotion, be lustful. And emotion tells the body that get ready and act. The opposite. If the mind has taqwa, fear of Allah and Allah's judgment, and if the mind has that belief, strong belief, that for my each and every action, I am going to be accountable. So from that reasoning, from that understanding, that person's mind say, no, 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 no. I cannot do any sexual abuse. No way. No way.
mm,
I don't want to make myself into trouble. I don't want to do any domestic violence. I cannot beat my wife because even no one is saying police is not here, court cannot catch me, prison
mm,
cannot touch me, but my Lord Allah is watching me
mm,
and I cannot avoid. So only simply that understanding and that faith will tell the emotion, be careful, don't be lustful, but feel respect for the other person. And then the emotion will tell the rest of the body, be guarded, be controlled, otherwise you're going to be in trouble. So the root is like a tree, the seed is the root.
mm,
Similarly, for our actions, whether unsafe or safe, whatever we do, the main root, the main seed is here. And that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent messengers to put the right faith in the mind without sending army with them, without sending prison with them, without sending this and that and that and that. So this thing today, the humanity is not focusing on. They are focusing on too much the other things to fix the problem. Yes, young people are now trying to get money and they want instant gratification. They want to buy a car. Okay, give them money. And they think it is going to solve. Okay, you know, the people who are on benefit, they are feeling that they are left out. So increase $30 per week, and that will solve the problem. It's not working.
mm,
Or okay, domestic violence. So provide a counseling for them, and then that will solve the problem. It is not. Or husband and wife is fighting, so let them be separate and then provide for them extra money as solo parent, and also two extra housing New Zealand houses with
mm,
less money and less rent. That will solve the problem, is it?
mm.
Or give antidepressant, prescribe plenty antidepressant,
Exactly. Yeah.
and we will give it free. Government will pay money for that, and that will solve the problem, is it? So we
Ambu-
need to,
ambulance at the bottom of the cliff mentality
yeah.
instead of,
So
yeah.
yeah, so I'm not saying that we shut down the prison, I'm not saying
Mm,
that, but
mm,
I'm saying, and that's what I try to explain in the conference, that we need to look at another way. We need to look at the root. The root is our mentality. The root is what we understand. The root is what we believe that is our value. So three things when it comes to the safety. Three things is very, very important to understand for each of us. One is, I need to ask, who am I?
mm,
This is first question. And if I say I'm a monkey, or I'm a progeny of monkey, then for me, fighting, killing,
anything
stealing,
goes. Anything
robbing,
goes. Yeah.
everything is okay
Yeah.
because this is what I am and this is my
Mm,
nature.
mentality. Yeah.
But no, we have to believe whether we are religious people or non-religious people. We have to use our religious knowledge, or if we are not believers, we have to use our reasoning,
Mm,
our common sense. And what common sense say? That are we monkey or like monkey? No.
mm,
Are we like animal or with animal manner? No. We are honorable human being with humility. We are honorable because we are responsible. We have knowledge, we have reasoning, we have willpower, We have a high standard. And when we describe it according to Quran, then it goes even further. Quran says that inni ja'ilun fil ardi khalifa or walaqad karramna bani Adam. Quran said that each one of us, each human is the vicegerent of Allah, ambassador, so highly honorable with high responsibility. So when we have high honor and responsibility, you know, can we do the law character things, which is hate, killing, abusing, violence, this and that? We cannot. So this thing we need to educate. We need to educate ourselves and our next generation, our young people, through education system, through gatherings, through different way. The second question is that what is my relationship between me and my neighbor, me and my community people. So we know the blood relations, we take care of them, but what about others? What is our relationship? Because depending on what we believe about our relationship between me and others, it can go into criminal way, unsafe way, or it can come into the safe way. So Islam teaches that we are human brothers and sisters. Inna khalaqnakum min zakarin wa unsa. Because Allah created us from Adam and Eve. We all have same parents, original parents. This is religious way, but secular way, people use all sorts of reasoning to say that yes, humanity is one. Even our Prime Minister, New Zealand Prime Minister, she said we are one. Because this is common sense. Because when one is suffering, another is crying. We cannot stop our tears when we see a child is suffering in Africa, or a old man is dying with COVID in India. Because we have connections, even though we do not know one another. So with common sense also, people understand or agree that our relationship is we are human as a large family. If this thing we can teach one another again, then again, our bond will increase. Our friendship will increase. And when the friendship increases, the bond increases, then we feel shy to harm one another. You can see someone who knows you and someone who doesn't know you. You will see the treatment is different. The moment someone, from the crowd looks at your face, hey, you are Muhammad Thompson, aren't you? Yes. Then you will see all chemistry changes. How are you? How have you been? But if that person doesn't know you, then maximum maximum he'll look at you and that's it. So we need to know, we need to educate our people, humanity, that we are close bonded human brothers and sisters. Then the third question and third education we need for a safer humanity is the question we need to ask. Okay, we understand we are honorable, responsible, humble human being. Yes, we accept the fact that we are human brothers and sisters. Then the third question is, how should we treat one another? How should we treat one another? Then it comes to the practice part. So now, common sense says that if you say someone is your human brother and sister, then you have to
Treat
treat
them,
them well.
treat them as such.
Yeah,
Yes.
treat them. And when we come to Islamic value, Allahu Akbar, it talks so much. How many references can we give?
Mm.
It talks so much. I will just give a couple of references. For example, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, "Irhamu man fil ardi, irhamu man fil ardi." Treat the human in the earth with mercy, with extra kindness. And when we say mercy, we know that mercy is not equality. Mercy is you give more than what he or she deserves.
Mm.
You give what more than what your family deserves. You give your neighbor more than they deserves. Even if they make mistake because of the mercy, you forgive them. They hate you, but you consistently love them. Like Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his neighbor, an
Mm.
old lady, she used to put thorns, on his way. And that time, he didn't have electricity. So every morning, he used to go to the Kaaba for prayer. Every morning he came out, he used to put his feet on the thorn, and it gave him pain. And that lady used to she used to laugh. But one day there was no thorn. Prophet went to the Kaaba, prayed, and then he started thinking, why no thorn today? Does that mean the lady is not well today? I should go and see her. Look at the mercy. He could have said, lucky me,
Alhamdulillah, no pricks today on my feet. I can walk without pain. Yes.
but his compassion,
Yeah.
took him to her home. And then, he said that, are you okay? And that had broken her down into
Mm.
tears. You have come to see your enemy? Then he could give the nice message. I don't see you as an enemy. So this is mercy. So, so Prophet ﷺ said, use mercy. If anyone has mercy, can he do sexual abuse? If anyone has mercy, can that person hit his beloved wife? I can't even imagine.
No.
How can I do this? So, Islamic teaching, be merciful. Be merciful. Then Islam is saying, Prophet ﷺ said, Al-Mu'minu, the true believer is somebody, Man aminahun nasu ala amwalihim wa dima'ihim wa amwalihim. That a true believer is somebody from his harm, the mankind is safe.
Okay.
Then it comes to Muslim and Muslim. Al-Muslimu, man salima muslimuna min lisanihi wa yadi. That if you are a simple English is, if you want to be a true Muslim, then you cannot harm other people with your tongue, with your hand. So, mostly, we use tongue for abusing. And, foul language, harsh language can cut people's heart. It is sharper than the knife.
Mm.
So Prophet ﷺ said, you can't do this. You have to use waqulu linnasi husna. Allah say that talk to people, when you talk to people with the best words, so that they will feel respected, they will feel appreciated, and it will be a sort of kind word. It will make their day.
So
Instead of yeah,
instead of hate speech, it's
yes,
love speech.
love
So
speech.
love speech.
Exactly.
So that
Exactly.
we wouldn't have any of this where they talk about this hate speech. Wouldn't have to be government setting up this new rules to hate speech. It'd be just everyone will be in peaceful and harmony, inshallah.
Inshallah. Yeah. So, I will summarize that, prophets came to teach this sort of things to people can change their wrong mentality into good mentality. They can have right faith that I'm responsible and I'm responsible for my neighbor, for other human being, because they are my brothers and human brothers and sisters. And I have to give rights to my family, give rights to my children, then my neighbor. Like in chapter 4, verse 36, Allah has given a long list. وبذي القربى وبالوالدين إحسانا وبذي القربى واليتامى والمساكين والجار ذي الجنب والجار ذي القربى والجار الجنب, والصاحب بالجنب, and the list goes on, that Allah gives right, that you have, your parents, your family, uh, your you know poor people, you know uh, masakin who are struggling, beggar, or your close neighbor, your far neighbor, who is with you, any companion, and then wabni sabil, the passers-by. It means it gives a list that as a human, I have to make sure that, number one, I'm not causing anything to create unsafe condition, but rather opposite, I am doing my best with my action, with my manner, with my dealings to contribute a safer community, a safer family, and safer humanity. So prophets, instead of coming with prison, coming with army, instead of coming with the guns, they came to teach people. And as a result, we have seen the Mecca, which was unsafe. Every unsafe things used to take place there. Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he only put one device in their mind, only one device. And the device is that faith that they are responsible, they are accountable for their action. And if they do not act properly, they will be in trouble. Only that faith, because of that faith, people change. And when people change here, you do not need police or army to, teach them how to behave, because this one will motivate their heart not to hate but to love, will motivate their heart not to feel, not to be cruel but to be merciful and forgiving. And this one will motivate their whole body that do everything right, so that you will be safe from troubles and other people will be safe from troubles. And that's how the prophetic teaching was. They targeted the root of the whole problem, which is mind, and they put the right remedy into there. And that Mecca, one day, a man who used to kill his own daughter or buried his own daughter alive, that man, because of this understanding, changed and broke into tears and came to Prophet ﷺ, said, I didn't understand. Now I understand what terrible things I have done. So the bottom line is, the root is our mind. If we can educate ourselves, our children at school, give them common sense, use religious knowledge, whatever is acceptable for whatever group, use either common sense knowledge or use religious knowledge, and give the same message that we are responsible, we are human brothers and sisters, we cannot cause unsafety for one another, because if we cause unsafe condition for others, it comes back to us again. We also do not become safe either.
inshallah.
Then that will be another approach that we can, you know, uh, educate people to bring a safer humanity, safer
Inshallah.
community, and safer neighborhood and home, inshallah.
Inshallah. Jazakallah. Can I just want to make one comment, and then
Sure.
I'll ask you one more question, inshallah. So the comment I was going to make, like the Olympics is coming up very soon. So this is athletes at their peak fitness, and usually the only difference between whoever wins and loses is in the mind. The mind is so powerful at that level of athleticism. They're at the peak. So the only difference is who wants to win the most. And this is just an example of, we talked about the mind, how the mind can overcome everything. And that's, how powerful the mind is, and we need to use it smartly. Be showing more mercy, more peace, more love, and less hate, racism, and everything else. Inshallah. Now, the question was, at that conference, did they come up with a solution of how to solve this? Did the people there, after they had this conference, did they come with some solutions, or as we know, the solution is Islam?
I, because I was the, keynote speaker, and I had to leave after that, and the conference continued rest of the day and
Yes.
also second day. So I am waiting for the report,
All right.
but I got the feedback that I set the tone,
Mm,
and that was good, and lots of discussions were followed, after my talk. So they are clever people,
mm,
very understanding people, as I said, very selfless, caring people. So definitely, they will come up with some ideas, and
mm,
I believe, it will be a, a progress towards the right
yes.
direction. Mm.
Yeah. Because inshallah, as we know, as we discussed here, it's having the belief and having that understanding that we believe in Allah, the Creator. We fear Him, but we also love Him, and we know if we're doing wrong, He sees it, and And the biggest part is we're accountable, and we
Mm.
know that if justice is not served in this world, as believers, we know that it's definitely going to be served in the next. So we need to make sure that we, as they say, get our house in order to be able to do the best that we can, and not have any of this, bad feelings, this hatred, this um, causing fear with others. And it's like what you said that, I don't know exact phrase or quote, but you sort of said that we don't want to have someone be harmed from our what we can do to others. So it means that we have the ability to do harm, but we're controlling that, because I think everyone has the ability to do anything, but because, as said before, the mind is powerful. We overcome the mind, we can overcome this hatred and make this a whole safer humanity, inshallah. So, Brother Farid, have you got any last words of wisdom you can add to us as we're nearly finished for today?
Yeah, yeah, not the wisdom, because I'm still learning. But I think that I'm going to be a member of Neighborhood Support New Zealand,
Inshallah.
with all the reasons, especially, if I follow my faith, my neighbors have rights on me.
Exactly.
And that there are so many verses and hadiths, in the Quran and Sunnah,
Mm,
so many in Islam about the rights of the neighbor. And you know um, briefly, like Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, you are not a Muslim, you are not a Muslim, you are not a Muslim.
mm,
And then the companion said, who are you talking about, Ya
mm,
Rasulullah? Then Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that if you know that your neighbor is hungry, and spending night, and you eat with satiety, it's satisfaction, then you are not a Muslim.
Mm.
It means, he said to Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala anha that when you cook something, share with the neighbor, and if you
Mm.
have less, just to make sure they can share,
Mm.
add some more, add some, more gravy in it, and
Mm.
then share with your
Spread it
neighbor.
around. Yeah.
Yeah. So neighborhood love, or loving your neighbor, is a theme of Islam,
Mm.
and also it is a theme of all other religions. So
Mm.
I am going to be a member, and I also recommend that Muslims all over the New Zealand,
Mm.
we should be also members of this kind of voluntary organizations. In each neighborhood, we should also, lots of good people out there, and we should join them,
Mm.
so we can also participate, we can also contribute something actively. Because what we need in our society is, we need to unite ourselves in common grounds.
Yes.
In common grounds. Okay? We are in this country, I'm especially talking about. In this country, the system is secular, the government is secular, but they give respect to each and every
Mm.
religion and
Yes.
every idea. So
Yes.
we are worshipping Allah. Nobody is going to, force us
Stop us.
to
Yeah.
change our way. So
Yes.
we are worshipping Allah. We are not doing any shirk. But when it comes to the service of the humanity, then Christian, Muslims, Buddhist, whoever comes along, we all need to be united.
Mm.
We all need to come together. And if we become a united force in each neighborhood, in each community, then automatically the
We'll be
crime will
safe.
go down.
We'll be safe. Yes.
Yeah, and we will be safer.
Yeah.
So we need to, purposely, in each area, please,
Mm.
I urge that we Muslims, let us be active and help other people who have established organization like neighborhood watch, neighborhood support for growing the safer community. They are doing wonderful, wonderful work. I admire them,
Mm.
and you know, we need to practice also our faith, and we need to support them.
Well, that's part of its obligation, really, because neighbourhood watch, if we talk about all the times it's mentioned in the Quran and the Hadith about caring for your neighbour, Muslims should have been the ones starting that. Maybe
Yes,
in the way back in the history, that's maybe where it did start, this sort of thing, caring for neighbours and things like that. So, like you said, yes, we should. And inshallah, I'm going to start investigating to see where my local neighbourhood watch is and support group, and just see if I can join it, inshallah. And we should encourage others to do so, because this is like, it also, it's going to break down the misunderstandings about what we believe and what they believe and things like that. So even in itself, just the mixture of the different nationalities and beliefs coming together in those groups, it actually breaks down things and makes things safe already, because there's, oh, they're Muslims, oh, they believe like us, so this, and this one's like do like this, and so we all come together on common grounds, and we look for
true.
the commonalities, not the things which are different, but we look at things which are the same. We have the same sort of beliefs.
And also, people who usually do wrong things in the neighborhood, or in houses, they are most people are doing these wrong things because they are under stress.
Mm.
They are suffering financially, or they do not have enough knowledge to deal with their own family problems. These are the vulnerable people. They make more mistake,
Mm.
and instead of just blaming them, if we or instead of just saying that, put them into prison, you know if we show some compassion, some mercy
Mm.
towards
Mercy.
them,
Yeah.
you know going to them, talking to them, how can we help you, how are you, how is things for you, then it will alleviate some of their pain. And as you know that, people are influenced by good companions. When some of these people will be with you, they will say you are positive, you are cheerful, you are loving, etc., etc., and they will be influenced by you. That way, their bad manner will be changed. Will be changed. I remember, I'll finish with one little story. After 15th of March, a couple from my neighborhood visited me. And, they, they were around 25 to 30 years old, husband and wife. And then, they said, do I have any advice for them? They were so nice. So, I said, yeah, the only advice I can give you is love one another. Sometimes you will be disappointed, but look at me. I have lost my loved one. And now I cannot treat her nicely. So life is so short. You never know what will happen. So young people, make sure that you are loving one another. And then two of them, they put their head down and they said to me that sometimes we fight, but we promise you that from today we are not going to fight again. That's how we can influence people.
Yes.
We just need to be out there. That's all we need to do. And inshallah, Allah will guide us, Allah will guide other people. But we need to make the effort.
Yes, inshallah. That's the thing. We need to make the effort and have that mercy and love and compassion for our fellow brothers and sisters in humanity. I don't want to add any more to that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Brother Farid. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again same time next week, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.